What the fuck you mean you don't know DJ Mark B? You better preach it. Say that. Say that. Oh, you better go now.
All right.
Welcome to Preach Care, Preach with Rashad. Here's another episode, another sermon coming at you from 12 Ounce Sports, Zingo TV, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. Anywhere else you can see it. So, man, Rashad, what's going on, my brother?
Bro, we back out here, man. The weather's starting to heat up. It's starting to really feel like spring and summer again for real now. I'm enjoying it, man.
Hey, I don't know if I really am, man. I ain't going in and out at work all day, and boy, it be hot. Hot is not a word.
Like, it's still weird that, stuff is closing way earlier and all that kind of stuff. I'm used to everything kind of still being open late, like normal, but we're on this new normal, so stuff is closing up earlier. You still got to make your moves before it get too late.
That's facts. So y'all know we coming through this time. We doing the upper room again. We did power fours last time. We are doing the small fours today. But before we get into all that, Rashad, you got something to say?
Oh yeah, we got 12 people in already. 12 inductees, all power forwards. Mr. Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, Karl Malone, Charles Barkley, Dirk Nowitzki. We got Kevin McHale. We got Pau Gasol. We got Dennis Rodman, Anthony Davis, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Chris Webber, man. So we're looking to add in a few more today. Let's see how it plays out. We got the small forwards. We always say the wings win your ring. So, this gonna be a pretty important position for us right here.
Yeah, wins wing rings is one of our sports rules. We know how valuable wings are because they can do a lot of different things. Be a guard and kind of be a big man at the same time. So when we go through this list, it's gonna be great. But first, let's talk about one of our sponsors, MyBookie. If first time ever using MyBookie, make sure you use the promo code 12 Ounce Sports. So I'm gonna give you a little game, Rashad. Over under, we see Nikola Jokic from the Denver Nuggets, like he lost a little weight. Over under, him being over 230 pounds.
Yeah, he's a pretty big guy. He probably at about 228, 230. He's a pretty big guy. Like, he looks slimmer, but he's, I think he probably operate around 260 during the season. So he's probably about 228, 230.
What do you think about that? Like, as far as like him losing all this weight, do you think it's a good thing for him or a bad thing? Because I know that we always talk about him being unathletic and stuff like that, but he's still a problem in the NBA. He's still one of the best players in the game. Do you see this being a good thing or a bad thing?
For the purposes of right now, this is probably phenomenal because you don't want to take basically 3 months off. I'm not sure if he has a house, apartment, penthouse, condo. We don't know all that. But, with those, depending upon what situation he's in living-wise, that kind of tips what you can do body-wise. Now, if you have a house, you probably got your own gym or something like that. But you got an apartment, they probably closed the gym up due to COVID. So I'm pretty sure working with the training staff, they probably gave him a phenomenal diet plan. And with 3 months off, he had a lot of time to get in shape. And I don't think it's a bad thing because with the way the games are going to be right now, you probably want the least amount of weight on you as possible so you don't wear your knees out, wear your back out. And you can get up and down that court as fast as possible. With these, they're gonna hot shot the season, 8 games, boom, right to the playoffs, and then you could be in some dog fights with the Rockets who play fast or with the Mavs who play kind of fast. So you want to be in shape to be able to match up with anybody.
Yeah, you talking about a guy who he be playing like 40 minutes. So a guy, he need to be in shape because them niggas gonna need you.
It ain't like there's any Shaqs out there or there's any Sabonis is. Like, there's not really any big guys who can really kind of lean on him in the West. So, I mean,
Facts.
losing a little bit of weight won't really hurt him. You know, the biggest guy out there is Rudy. That's going to be in the playoff wise, going to be Zion Williamson, who's like 6 inches shorter than him. And then on the height side and probably body wise is AD and Gobert. So, you know, he should be good. You know,
And Gobert can't score.
So he should be straight out there.
Yeah.
Montrezl Harrell ain't his size.
Yeah, so well, hey, I'm interested to see how he carries weight around now that he doesn't have the weight. So shout out to Jokic for doing that, man. Before we get into it, also over under, you know, my boy Dalvin Cook in the news, man.
Shout out John Beckett, man. Denver Nuggets.
Oh yeah, shout out John Beckett. Hey, we got to get him back on too. Dalvin Cook, my Minnesota Vikings, man, in the news. You know our number one rule: we never pay running backs. He said he's not coming back to any team activities until they get a reasonable contract. Now, I've heard rumors that Vikings offer him a little bit less than $10 million, and also reports that he wants Christian McCaffrey money. So I guess so it's like you got two different sides of the spectrum right there. I guess reasonable would be somewhere in the middle with 12 to 13 million. So over under, I'm gonna go 3.5. How many games did Dalvin Cook miss?
Oh, he gonna probably miss at least. I'm going over 3 games because just looking at right now, man, they are far apart money wise. Because you gotta still think about, all right, you're not gonna get McCaffrey money. He's the outlier. He's not as beat up as you have missed in the game, so that's out the door. You really can't even get Zeke money because even Zeke been on the ball. Like Cook been hurt, so you can't get Zeke money or McCaffrey money. So now you're looking at, all right, that David Johnson money that he first got, that might be pretty fair, considering at that time where he was and he got injured, so it kind of make it look bad in hindsight. But man, $10 million might be the cap, and depending upon how the guarantees or the incentives, if you play this many games, you get this, you hit these bonuses of maybe weight or touchdowns or yards. You can probably get it up to about 12, 13 million with bonuses, but just a flat guarantee, 9 or 10 million. That's all I'm willing to go. And even that's gonna just be for about a 2-year deal, because if he get hurt again, you don't want to be stuck with him when you got Madison or Boone who can probably step in.
Hey, Madison, what it do, baby? You know me, man. I love Dalvin Cook, man. I think he
is the key to the offense.
Yeah.
He is the key to the offense because that play action with Kirk Cousins, that's deadly, and now you've lost, Dig via trade, and you got a rookie wide receiver on the outside now. So you will need Cook's pass catching and not a ball control offense, but you need somebody to kind of alleviate some of the stuff from Cousins. But
yeah,
I mean, not for no 12, 13, 14 million dollars, 15, man, 9 or 10.
Yeah, and we know even though the rule is never pay running backs, okay, we can understand why the Panthers paid Christian McCaffrey. You understood why the Cardinals paid David Johnson when they did. But it's like when you have the offense that Minnesota has, Gary Kubiak and Kyle Shanahan, they got the same kind of offense. And how many elite backs has came from that system? Like, I don't remember who was the back for Houston when Kubiak was there. Aaron Foster. Like I don't think he was elite, but he had great seasons. And then you got Matt Breida and the Mostert. So I love Dalvin Cook. I think he's special. I think we do need him to win the Super Bowl. But hey, when that money start talking, I start walking.
Man, salary cap sport, man. You gotta know when to hold them, know when to fold them.
Facts. All right, now let's get into our upper room.
The upper room.
Shout out to Eddie Murphy again in life, man. Small forwards. So we talked about power forwards. Wings win rings, and this is probably the best position. So we're gonna start off. We're gonna start off with the guys who are retired, who we have already in. We're not gonna spend too much time talking about them because they already made it. But we got 2 votes from both of us. First off, Larry Bird, Boston Celtics. I mean,
unanimous nominees right here.
I mean, Larry Bird. I mean, you can't. It's not like much you can say, man. I mean, how many championships you got? You got
3 titles, made it 5 times, 2 Finals MVPs, 10-time All NBA, 3 consecutive MVPs. Like, I'm gonna give me a quick spiel, man. I have Larry Bird as the 5th best player of all time. I'm one of those people who thinks he's better than Magic Johnson because when they were both at their peak powers, he won 3 consecutive MVPs, and Magic didn't get some till afterwards. So I
Right.
think Larry, I think, better score than Magic. Magic gonna get the nod as the passer, but it didn't like Bird suck as a passer.
No, Bird was good. Bird
Exactly.
can pass that thing. Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
averaged like 10 rebounds for the career, man. Bird up there to me.
Hey,
I think he one of the 5 best players of all time.
I'm with you as far as Larry Bird being better than Magic, and that's coming from a Laker fan who hate the Celtics. So, but yeah, Larry Bird. Imagine if he was alive, not alive, but imagine if he was in this era.
What you doing,
I'm
man?
chilling. Hey,
It's
2020
already-
chill.
hey, it's
2020
already
chill.
2020,
I'm sorry.
bro,
I'm
chill.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. 2020. I apologize. But Larry Bird. I mean, imagine if he was in this era with shooting threes, bro. He would be 30. Like this guy, man.
Let Larry Bird to be outside of LeBron James, the best player in the game right now.
I'm right there with you, man. Yeah, we seen Kevin Durant be a scorer, and Larry Bird, like what he can do too is like obviously it's kind of like that's what I would see if Larry Bird was around now. Next person we got Scottie Pippen. I mean, we talk about wins win rings. He got 6 of them things, and one of the best defensive players of all time. Chicago. We know when Michael Jordan left, he still made the playoffs. He showed why he was one of the best players in the game. Even when he went to Houston and went to Blazers, he showed that he was still a good player. So Scottie Pippen, I mean, can't go wrong putting him in.
Yeah, point forward, triple double threat. Probably, the best wing defender of all time, arguably. 6 titles, led the league in steals before, 10-time all defense. Resume speaks for itself. Welcome to the hall, the upper room, Pip.
What up, Pip? And then the last person who's retired, who automatically in, of course, Dr. J, the doctor. And it's kind of crazy, like he was so great in the ABA and in the NBA, and we talked about how this Prophet Hall
Since
of
the
Fame,
merger.
right? It's since the merger, so it's from 1977 on. So, but Dr. J, I mean, won the championship. Got an MVP in the NBA, 7-time All NBA, and this is after the merger. So you're talking about a guy who can do it all. One of the best plays of all time, going behind the backboard, laying it up. I mean, the cradle. I mean, iconic. Dr. J is iconic.
Yeah, so like you said, don't nobody come in the mentions talking about Rick Barry and John Havlicek and Elgin Baylor. We're not counting
Right.
in this. Yeah, but the crazy thing is, Doc lost some of his prime years. Not lost because in the ABA he dominated. He was multiple time MVP, won the ABA title, all that kind of stuff. But even spending some of his prime years in the ABA, then coming to the NBA later on, he still put together one heck of a resume, man. Like 11-time All-Star. He won an MVP, made all NBA 7 times. And he took the Sixers to the finals 3 times before Moses got there. And then, of course, when Moses got there, they won a title. So, I mean, he's 1-3 in the NBA finals, but, man, you was carrying the team and, you was getting there, man. Like, pretty much, I would not say by yourself, but you was the lead guy on that team.
I was about to say if the timing was right and he got Moses and Charles Barkley, who's already in the upper room, man, who knows how they would have wrecked the '80s if Charles Barkley came, a few seasons before he got shipped off to Phoenix. But yeah, Dr. J automatically in for us. Yeah, going on to like you talked about the guys, Elgin Baylor's, we respect all of them, but this is since 1977. So, here are the players who are active, who we have automatically in as well. Of course, King James, LeBron James. I mean, this guy has done everything and more that he was supposed to do, and it's crazy because I've never seen somebody as hyped as he was coming out. I mean, we was little kids when he was coming out, and he been everything and more. So, I mean, yes, he got the 3-6 the finals record, but I mean, it's 8 straight trips to the finals, 15-time All-Star. You got 4 MVPs when he should have 10 probably. I mean, LeBron, too easy, man.
Man, yeah,
Too easy.
arguably the GOAT. I mean, if you go back and look at any season stats and look at the leaders, he only has 1 scoring title, but you get debate. He could probably have 5 or 6 of those as well, because a lot of years, even though he's a triple-double guy and he's mainly pass first, like team first, a lot of years this dude was second or third, well, at least top 4 in scoring. Like, imagine he just poured it on for like 2-3 more shots. He'd have been averaging 30.
Right.
Because most times he averaged between 25 and 29, and that's giving the ball up first. If he took it upon himself to ball hog and like go get every bucket,
Easily.
dude could easily average 30. So arguably the GOAT, top two in my opinion. Man, like you said, 4 MVPs, but a dude could have 8 of them.
Yeah. And on top of that, we glad that he want to score because he's already gonna get probably the most scoring points all time.
Man, and like that's why like that GOAT argument is true. Like, of course, he had more years, not going to college, all that kind of stuff. He started out younger, taking care of his body and stuff like that. So of course he gonna naturally last longer with all the modern day medicine.
Right.
Dude been working out in training since he was in high school. So like he didn't have the best treatment possible, man. But yeah, he gonna probably be number one for sure, and scoring ain't his main priority.
That's the crazy part. And also his counterpart that we always compare him to, Kevin Durant. I mean, this is. I mean, it was funny, bro. I seen a tweet that says, I think Spencer Dinwiddie said this. He was like, man, when you have a 7'2" small forward, I said, damn, he gonna grow every year. Like, he was 6'10", he's 7 foot, he's 7'2". But Kevin Durant, I mean, one of the best scorers of all time. He could put that ball in the net. I mean, averaging 27 for a career, like that's crazy. Because usually guys come in the league, you get 16, 17 to start off, and then you get up there, so your career numbers be trash because your first few years. But this guy,
your first 2 or 3 years, yeah.
But this guy out the gate, man, been a scorer, a dominant presence. And like everybody, I tell everybody this story. Kevin Durant, yes, he went to the Warriors and quote unquote took the easy way out, but he saved the Warriors. I don't care how you want to slice it. He saved the Warriors. They was not winning another championship until Kevin Durant got there. And he came there, was the best player on the floor. So Kevin Durant easily in our upper room.
Oh yeah, 4-time scoring champ. He could have a few more of those if he didn't join the Warriors, honestly. So
right.
One of my favorite players. I don't want to add on too much. He has 2 titles. I consider him to be 2-1 in the finals. 1-2 at the Warriors, lost to OKC. I don't count this past year. He only played 11 minutes. Yeah. Like 10 minutes. That don't count against his resume.
Hey,
2-1.
He won that shit. Like he won. If he plus minus, he got that. Kevin Durant.
Exactly.
And another guy that we both agree on, and this is where I think our debate start for the small forwards is none other than I wore the hat today when he won the championship. Kawhi Leonard. I mean, you talk about a guy who has the potential to win Finals MVP with 3 different teams. This is what LeBron James is trying to do right now. And he's in year 17 versus Kawhi, who's in year, 7, 8? And
Kawhi's year 8 or 9.
So
he came in 2011,
2012. So 8 or 9 years, and he's on the same path. And I mean, yes, you spent 1 year with the Raptors versus LeBron spending multiple years in different places, but this guy has the opportunity to be not only the best defender of all time, but you're talking about one of the greatest at offense as well. So we'll see. He still got some years to go, and so we'll see about that. But he already got 2 Finals MVPs, one of the best defenders of all time, and anytime he step on the court, you have to worry about him both ways.
Yeah, man, we both agree he's in. But people try to discredit him. Oh, well, the first Finals MVP, he was on a loaded Spurs team with multi-time All-Star, all that kind of stuff. The Spurs were not really the Spurs at that point. They were slowly. Right. They were more of a committee at that point. Like Duncan wasn't the same 2003 MVP Duncan. Ginobili wasn't the same 6th Man of the Year Ginobili. Tony Parker wasn't the same 2007 Finals MVP Tony Parker. So Pop was still Pop, but they were slowly turning the team over to Kawhi and to Danny Green. Like, they were going younger and stuff like that. They were more of a committee approach. So you can't discredit his Finals MVPs, but his game 3, 4, and 5 was kind of what propelled him to that blowout of the Heat. He's already won 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards, already made all defensive team 5 times. He should make his 4th All-NBA this offseason. I mean, you already got 2 titles, basically the same resume as Kevin Durant for the most part, outside of regular season MVP.
Right. I mean, all he has to do, if he win with the Clippers, I mean, he's cemented because you won with 2 franchises who would never win, probably again.
Yeah, dude gonna be Dude, top 15 all time,
Yeah,
man.
easily.
Like even if he don't, even if he decide to hang it up early or his body break down, he's easily one of the 15, in my opinion, one of the 15 greatest players of all time.
Yeah, I
At
felt.
this point, you're just looking for longevity stats, which I don't really care about. What did you do in your prime? Did you dominate or not?
Right, and I think Kawhi Leonard, even though I think Barry Sanders is the greatest running back, Kawhi Leonard he's like a Barry Sanders type of guy where he can lead the game early and accomplish so much. It don't matter. It don't matter what time like he actually leaves. So, yeah, Kawhi Leonard. So that's six guys right there already in the upper room. Now let's go ahead and start getting to the gritty of our discussion. So it's some guys who retired. So let's start there. Let's start with the Paul Pierces and the James Worthies, the Neeks, Grant Hill, those type of guys. So I'm gonna give you the floor. You go talk about who you want to talk about first.
Let's pop it off with a very controversial guy, man. Paul Pierce, the truth. Mr. Always hating on LeBron, always trying to trade LeBron, or just always hating on LeBron. Let's start with the truth, man. Resume wise, 10-time All-Star, one-time champion, made it twice, but he's a one-time champion from 2008. 4 times All-NBA. On that championship team, he was the Finals MVP. I always kind of divide his career up into 2 sections. Personally, he spent 15 years with the Celtics, but I always look at it from like his 3rd year through his 9th year before the Big Three joined together. He was averaging like 25 points a game, and then once the Big Three came, he's averaging more around 19 points a game. But he was still a 5-time All-Star on both fronts, and of course, you make more All-NBAs compared to you win a title and you making deep playoff runs. So I always divide his career up into 2.
Yeah.
While I had the floor, if I'm voting, I would give Paul Pierce the nod. I think he's one of the 4 or 5 greatest Celtics of all time.
Paul Pierce, I mean, he's one of my favorite players as far as growing up when I was playing basketball to watch and study his game. But yeah, Paul Pierce was a killer, man. I mean, and I think that's what get lost in the shuffle where when you see, Iverson break through once, Reggie Miller broke through once, Ray Allen couldn't break through, got to the conference finals a couple times. Jason Kidd then broke through twice, but Pierce was there the whole time, I think that's what people forget. Like he wasn't at the crib like. It's not like he was Devin Booker and those guys,
not all the time.
Right? It's not like he was 18 and 60. No, this guy they was winning games in Boston. Him and Antoine Walker, and they had their chances to make finals, and they made a Eastern Conference Finals one time. And I think that's things like nobody was watching Boston at that time because it wasn't a thing. And Paul Pierce had chances to leave, and he didn't. He got the Big Three to come, and that's why I like when you say you split his career because. This side, he was making all Finals MVPs. All NBAs, and then he was winning the averaging 25. And now you had to take a step back to win championships. And he only got one, got there twice. They tried it in Brooklyn, didn't work. But it's just he get forgot about because of what he be saying is just stupid.
Yeah, analyst Paul Pierce and player Paul Pierce are 2 different people.
Analyst Paul Pierce going as the worst. He would never make my analyst Hall of Fame. But man. Yeah, the player. I'm with you, Rashad. I'm voting him in too.
Yeah, I think his resume and what he did. He's kind of gotten underrated as time has went on as a true bucket getter. But his contemporaries, Kobe and Stack, them, T-Mac, a lot of people they give Pierce the props on the court. Like you said, as an analyst. We might have to get P up out of here, but on the court, I think he's in there.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and take it across the country, man. Let's keep the rivalry going. Let's go from a Celtic to a Laker. Let's talk about James Worthy.
Big game, James.
Resume wise, yeah. Hey, one of the better nicknames out there, along with the truth.
Yeah.
But Big Game James, 7-time All-Star, 3-time champion with the Lakers. They made 6 finals while he was there. He made 2 All-NBA teams. And in 1988, their last run together as a winning team, going back-to-back, he was the Finals MVP. Not Magic, not Kareem. James Worthy was the Finals MVP. And in a game 7, that was his first career triple double, man. So he came up big when they needed him,
Hey,
needed him the most. That's where he get the nickname from.
hey, and see, and I don't want to discredit James Worthy for being the third guy when you talk about like 'cause it's like legendary status when you talk about Kareem and Magic, and then you have a James Worthy right behind him. And it's like, but when all three together, he still got an MVP. Now Kareem was on the tail end, so so it's kind of
that was older Kareem
right.
there.
So it's kind of like do we how much do we put into the Finals MVP as far as he got it because it was older Kareem, and it's like do we like demote him a little bit because he was the third guy? Because we know Big James, like anywhere he went, he probably would have been one of the best players on his team. Would he would have won? That's
up for the debate.
yeah, right. But it's not like it's not too much he couldn't do. I mean, he couldn't shoot threes, but I mean the Lakers weren't known for that at the time. They was running gun, and I think he was a perfect partner to having like a Magic like Johnson, because Magic wasn't the scorer, but
you run the wing, you get the ball.
Yeah, so and I think that's where he got a lot of easy buckets in transition as well like that. Man, it's just tough because do you think when you talk about James Worthy, would you say during the 80s he's one of the best players in the game?
One of the more underrated guys. And of course, what you do is always dependent upon your situation as well. When he first came into the league, they still had Jamal Wilkes averaging 20 points. So James kind of had to ride the pine a little bit until his time came. But when his time did come, from the 85-86 season through 91-92, if you average those seasons out, the dude was shooting 52% from the field because he had such elite post game, and he's averaging 20 points. And I think his career numbers for a regular season are like 17 points, but in the playoffs, his career numbers, he's averaging like 21, 22. So when the playoffs came, he always took his game up a notch. So I think based upon the resume of winning 3 titles, you got the Finals MVP, multi-time All-Star, his skill set, I would give James Worthy my nod. I would give him my vote.
Cause see, to me, it's kind of like, all right, is James Worthy being in that? Cause like we talked about like who last year we talked about Aldridge being like the face. We talked about the Hall of Good, and it's kind of like well, James Worthy got to be above that. But it's like, is he up there with the LeBron and Durant, the Larry Birds? Of course not. So in our upper room, there are still levels to this. Like, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, it's still levels to it.
Look, we in the upper room, but man, it's tiers to, like, it ain't levels, it's tiers, man. You got some people in the penthouse suite, you got some people with the king bed, and you got some with the queen bed. But you still in the upper room. You still in the elite place.
Yeah, you still get invited to the parties, man.
But
so
somebody gonna have the pool table in the hot tub. Somebody just gonna have the sliding door shower. Somebody gonna have the regular the standard bedroom.
The sliding door shower. That's funny.
But hey, you still in the upper room. You just on the lower end, man.
Yeah, and I think because because
you still VIP.
Hey, drinks on me. James Worthy, he got it 3 times with his boys, with Kareem and not with Kareem, but he got it twice with Kareem, 3 times with Magic, and he was able to get one as the best player in the series. And you talk about how big that game was, a game 7. I mean, that right there, plus with his resume, it's kind of pushing me to agree with you and put him in.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to leave him out.
But he getting that queen size though.
Yeah. He on that lower rung, but he is.
He getting that queen size. All right. Another guy, Dominique Wilkins, man. Hey, neat the freak. I mean, it just. I'm gonna tell you like it is. Neat lucky. Like Atlanta is not known for winning. Like Dominique was anywhere else, he'd be a champion.
Bro, hold on. We got to bring nicknames back. The dude nickname was the human highlight reel. Like, the dudes back in the day had nicknames. Like, now you just get your initials. AD, KD, OBJ.
Nobody creative.
they lazy with the names now, man. You had the human highlight reel. I mean, they call him Michael Jordan, Black Cat, Black Jesus. Come on, man.
Hey,
Your nickname now Melo. It's your real name.
that's- hey, you talking about the Dr. J, Truth, Big Game James, and the human highlight. That's this. Hey, nicknames alone heating up room.
even if you nickname yourself Black Mamba, man, R.I.P. to one of the GOATs. Even if you nickname yourself, get you a good nickname.
Hey,
don't be out here calling yourself the Brow. And that's my guy. Don't be out here calling yourself the Brow, man. Come on, bro. Look, round mound of rebound. That's hard. The mailman. Come on, bro. They had nicknames back then. These dudes these days, they tripping, bro. Your doggone initials.
Melo.
KD or OBJ.
He said that's your
AD.
name.
Man, that's your name. Your name Carmelo. What's up, bro? What's up, Melo? Hey, come on, man. Like, D Wade had the last good nickname, Flash. Like, that was the last good nickname.
And he wasn't even that fast for that long. Like, yeah. Oh, that's funny as hell. Hey, all right.
The beard. Bro, come on, anybody get a beard? Come on, man.
Oh man, that's funny. All right, so the human highlight, man. I mean, he started going around the league at the end of his career, but we know him for the Atlanta Hawks. 9-time All-Star, 1-time scoring champ, 7-time All-NBA. I think Dominique in his prime. I mean, granted, it was kind of intertwined with the Jordans, Birds, and all them. But Dominique, if it wasn't for them, he's the best player in the NBA. So
I mean, I wouldn't argue with that, man. Between in the 80s, it'd have been between, if you take out Mike, you take out Larry Bird and Magic, you looking at Isaiah Thomas and Dominique. I mean, the dude, one of the greatest dunkers of all time. I mean, he spent the majority of his career with the Hawks, but he's the franchise's all-time leader in scoring and steals. Starting with his second year in the league, they began a streak of 11 consecutive years scoring more than 20 points. I mean, he led the league in scoring one time. I think he averaged 30 that year. Might have been 80, 85 or 86, something like that. So
that's a lot of points.
With the Hawks, he made the playoffs 8 out of 12 years. So he was getting there. Like, as the guy, you would get to the playoffs, but you always get knocked out. Second round. You run into this.
Because his best player
Pistons or Celtics.
Because his second best player 5'0", 5 foot tall, like 4'6". Well, I mean, Doc. That's why he couldn't go far. But yeah, man, Dominique, man, he's in there. Case closed.
Yeah, I gotta give him my vote. Definitely 1-2 dunk contest. I gotta get him in there.
All right, it's one guy that retired, had a great career to start off, but injuries derail him, and I want to know if you putting him in. And that's none other than Grant Hill, who may have been, if you talk about role players, he might be the greatest role player. Like, if you talk about greatest of all time role players, he probably up there. And we talk about greatest, like, off the jump, he's in there. His first 6 years, bro, 22 points per game, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. And this is from the gate. This is from rookie season to 6 years later before he left Detroit. He was a like you talking about bad boys. Like, he was a bad boy. Like, after Isaiah and he teamed up with, I think him and Joe Dumars caught each other.
They had a few years together.
So and he was.
They changed the uniform. Then they had them teal uniforms. They were trying to get rid of that bad boy.
Hey, them jerseys was hard. The Grant Hill Pistons jerseys was hard in my opinion. But man, this is like his career, and maybe it's Tim Duncan's fault for not going to Orlando. As far as helping his case here, because his first 6 years, 5-time All NBA. First 6 years, like in 6 years, 6-time All Star. Like,
yeah, it's almost unheard of, man.
Like this. You should not make the All NBA 5 times in your first 6 seasons, doing crazy, and 6 all-time All Stars, and like we leave you out. But it's kind of like, well, he had so many different stages of his career with the Magic where he just fell apart. He
only got one quality year in Orlando, only one quality year.
And like I said, if he can stay healthy, he could have been a champion. Like him and T-Mac together would have been a problem. Like that. The Pistons, Grant
Especially
Hill,
in that era in the East,
with
they
just
could
two,
definitely
with just
made,
two of them.
yeah, they could definitely made some East Finals or some NBA
I'm
Finals.
about to say if Iverson making it by himself, Ray Allen and Desmond Mason going to the East Conference Finals, Grant Hill and T-Mac would have been so far gone. And it's kind of like, so I'm gonna say no, just because after the 6 years, then like it just went downhill, and it's not. I mean, injuries are part of the game, but that's all. He didn't do anything else after that. He was a great role player, like with the Phoenix teams, with Nash and all them, and being a good glue guy, and with the Clippers and even with the Mad, like I just feel like it's just after the 6 years, it's just a flop, and it's because of injuries and all that stuff. But his first 6 years, he would be, if you just take that prime for prime. I mean, he was gonna be one of the greatest players of all time.
Yeah, I know we establishing the baseline, so I'm gonna see if you'll change your mind and give Grant Hill your vote after. Got a few more nuggets on Grant, man. All right. On the list of people who have 9,000 points, 3,000 rebounds, 2,500 assists, and 500 steals, and 200 blocks. All those stats, the big five stats. Through their first 6 years, only 3 guys got those stats. LeBron, Larry Bird, and Grant Hill. All right, they won the gold medal in the 96 Olympics. He led the team in steals when they did that. As a rookie, he's the only rookie, I won't say only, but he was the first rookie in any of the major four sports, the basketball, football, hockey, baseball, or the four major sports. He led the fan voting in his first All-Star game as a rookie. That's unheard of. No Mike in the league, so he led the fan voting. I mean, as a non-guard, for 4 years, he led the NBA in assists among non-guards. He has 29 career triple-doubles. That's more than Michael Jordan. Jordan only got 28.
And that's probably all in the first 6 years.
And then I got to get him one more nod, man. So 97, Karl Malone was the MVP. Kind of controversial because people thought Mike should have won it. But Grant Hill was third in MVP that year in the rankings, averaging 21, 9, and 7. So, short prime, very short lived, but he did so much in that short amount of time. I'm giving him a vote for the Upper Room Hall of Fame.
So you saying Grant Hill is the Terrell Davis of our, because Terrell Davis and Gale Sayers, they didn't play long at all in the NFL, and yet during their prime they were the best in the league.
Dominated, yeah.
So I just said Grant Hill was in his first 6 years, he was on pace to be, obviously, Jordan with the 6 rings, and it's hard to top that, but he was well on his way to be the best player of all time. And if you say Larry Bird and LeBron did that in their first 6 years, and nobody else done it, not Durant, not Mike, not
LeBron,
Kobe,
Bird, and Grant Hill.
that's because it's all right. So if we, I guess somebody has to be the Terrell Davis because you can't lead Terrell Davis out the Hall of Fame because he's great.
He basically powered the Broncos to those championships.
Right.
He kind of saved John Elway on the back end.
So it's kind of all right. So Pistons. Do you remember how well they did in those playoffs? Like, was he?
They made playoffs 4 out of his 6 years. A few first round knockouts, but I think they made the second round one time. I mean, one or two times.
He bounced second. Once Joe Dumars left, who was on the Pistons? I can't even name nobody.
Exactly.
So his first 6 years was so elite. You know what? I'm letting him in. Yeah, he got to go into because you talking about one of the guys who he was going to be an all time great. We talk about trajectory. We talked about last week and we talked about this week as well. The trajectory was he's going to be one of the best players of all time. I'm not even saying a queen size bed with James Worthy. He was getting the penthouse. So.
Oh yeah, he was definitely hitting.
He was getting the penthouse. So I'll let Grant Hill in. You're right. I'll give you that.
Yeah, just that stat where he finished in the MVP voting and having more triple doubles than Mike. Those 3 things that convinced me he got to be in there.
All right, so guys who retired that we ain't really talked about, like the Alex Englishes and the Adrian Dantleys, the Chris Mullins, Bernard Kings. your take on them because they put the ball in the basket as well. And Chris Mullin, I would say his career stats got dwindled down because of the Pacer just being a role player scorer. But all these guys were 4 to 5 plus all stars. Out of those three, outside of Chris Mullin, the rest of them were scoring champs, and they made multiple All NBA nods. So, what's the case for them? These guys not getting in because they're in the Naismith Hall of Fame, but they're not in the upper room.
I'm gonna start with Chris Mullin. What's the case for Chris Mullin? 5-time All-Star, 4-time All-NBA, member of the infamous Run TMC.
Shout out.
Also a member of the '92 Dream Team. He got a gold medal.
Okay.
Quick little stats on Mullin. Warriors franchise leader in games played. He's first, 807 games, and also in steals. Stephen Curry gonna pass him both
right
pretty soon.
And Clay, he gonna be third. He gonna be fourth.
Yeah.
Draymond gonna pass
him. So he's seventh in free throw percent for the franchise, fifth in total points, and fifth in total assists. He had 5 consecutive years of averaging 25 plus points, and only Wilt Chamberlain did that with the Warriors. So that's the case for Chris Mullin. But I can go ahead and give my vote on Chris Mullin right now. I'm not voting for him. He is not moving to the upper room.
Yeah, I'm not voting for Mullin. I think Mullin is one of those Hall of Goods. He definitely in the Hall of Good. Like you talk about, you want to build your franchise and you want to have this. You want to have a good second or third guy. Chris Mullin's your guy. So yeah, I mean, even for all NBAs during the '90s, I mean that's pretty. That's pretty good.
Yeah, solid run, but only 4 or 5 good years. I can't do it. Alex English. Let's talk about Alex English, man. He played for a few teams, but he's mostly known for his time with the Nuggets. During the '80s, he's one of the more prolific scorers. He retired. When he retired, he was the 7th leading scorer in NBA history. He had 25,613 points.
That's like 35 now.
He was the first player in NBA history to score 2,000 points in 8 straight seasons. He set 31 Denver Nuggets records during that time. I mean, during his first 10 years with Denver, he made 8 All-Star games, won a scoring title, averaged more than 23 points 9 years in a row, and they also made the playoffs 9 times. He's still the Nuggets franchise leader in scoring. And underrated thing about this dude, man, something I value, dude was healthy for a very, very long time. And during his 15-year career, he played at least 78 games every year except his rookie year. I'm voting.
Hey, I'm saying I'm Alex English. That's a great case for him, and being an 8-time All-Star, which I think back then was probably more realistic than it is now when you make All-Stars.
And look, all NBA was more valuable back then too because they only had 2 All NBA teams. They added the third team later on, so a lot of guys kind of pad that third team.
Right? Yeah. I like Alex English too. I think we can't forget him. And you mentioned a great point. I mean, if you're going to be dominant and you can score 2,000 points 8 straight seasons, I mean, at the time it was unheard of, and we can't look at now and back then. So it's like at the time this Alex English was one of the best players to play the game as far as putting the ball in the basket. He was putting the ball in the basket. So I'll vote Alex English as well.
And who else we got retired next? Adrian Dantley.
Adrian Dantley. I ain't putting him in mind. I don't care what kind of stats you're bringing up. He got on the Pistons and they couldn't win because of him. So they could have won 3 to 4 championships if he would just let Isaiah Thomas be the guy and be the second and just be the scorer. But he wanted to be something else. I ain't put Dantley in just because of that alone. It's biased, but I don't care.
All right, but just for the audience, man, I'm gonna go ahead and give them the Adrian Dantley resume before we move on, before we transition. But we got like 17 minutes left. At the time of his retirement, he was the 9th leading scorer in NBA history, so he was behind Alex English. He great free throw shooter, man. He ranked 5th all time on the NBA all time free throw list. He won Rookie of the Year, 2 scoring titles. Led the NBA and made free throws 5 times during his career, so he was knocking down at the line. During his first 4 years with the Jazz, they did not make the playoffs, so that goes to your case of him not being a winner. And then, of course, like you said, once he was with Detroit, they didn't win the title until he left. So, similar resume to English, but, because for consistency, I'm going to vote him yes. But what you vote no, Mr.
Hey.
Dantley does not make the Upper Room Hall of Fame.
I ain't putting Dentley in. He just you don't win nowhere, and you finally get on a winning team and don't know how to act. I just you supposed to be the guy to push it to the top and you brought him down. I can't do it. Bernard King, I ain't put Bernard King in. He just I feel like it was more of a
Man,
ABA thing, NBA thing.
Hey, Knicks fans finna hit the DM going crazy, man. But
I ain't put Bernard King in.
Bernard King, he's not going in. 4-time All-Star, 1-time scoring champ, 4-time All-NBA. To me, the scoring title is bogus. He only played like 58 games. He got hurt, blew his ACL, I think.
It'll count.
If he had a longer career with, based upon injury, if he would stay healthy, he'd have probably made it. But no Bernard King for me either.
All right. So who have we talked about yet?
Man, I gotta talk about my boy with the bad nickname, Melo. Melo.
Hey. All right.
Because look, he got a similar resume to Dantley, to English. He's 10-time All-Star. He won a scoring title. I think he is kind of bogus too. He only played about 60-something games. I thought KD should have got it, but KD was like 0.5 lower because he played 81 games compared to Melo's 65, 66, something like that. But Melo's 6-time All-NBA, so his first 10 years in the league, man, he made the playoffs with Denver and the Knicks, but he hasn't won a playoff series since like 2014, 2013, something like that. So he on a good little drought. And because of his reputation, he was out the league at one point. Even his talent couldn't keep him in the league for a little while. So
yeah,
he kind of had a bad rap, but man, Melo is one of the 5 to 10 greatest offensive forces ever. I think he's number like 18 right now on the all-time scoring list. If he lasts a little bit longer, he'll move up. But even just being top 20 on the all-time scoring list, and what we know, playoff success and stats don't really define him, but we know he dominated during his prime. I'm voting for Melo.
Yeah, Melo getting in too. Easy decision for me. You're talking about a guy who, he was consistently a top 5 player in the NBA for a long time. But yeah, I think we always gonna knock him when you're talking about the upper echelons. I don't think he deserves the penthouse, and it's because his ego and all that stuff and getting in the way. You should have teamed up with LeBron, like in Miami. I'm sorry, like you should have did it. And you had opportunities in Denver and New York to win. You was 1 seed in New York one time, I think, or at least the top 2 seed, and then got to the conference finals against the Lakers versus Kobe. So he had chances to actually do it himself, and he did pretty fine. He got close, but no cigar. So, but yeah, put him in right now. And too bad Portland probably won't make the playoffs to maybe try to win the series. Actually, they'll get blown out, but it don't matter. For
the fans, you kind of see where we drew the line at Melo playoff success, English playoff success, but Dantley not a lot of success, even though he had a similar resume.
And then got onto the team with playoff success and brought him down.
so that's kind of where the line gets drawn at, as far as those 3 guys with similar resumes. But let's talk about 3 guys real quick that are also, two are retired, but one's still active that people are saying could potentially be Hall of Famers. But let's start with current Miami Heat Andre Iguodala, 1-time All-Star, 3-time champion, 2-time All-Defensive Player, 1-time Finals MVP. Yes or no? Does Iggy get your vote for the Upper Room?
You want me to lie? You want me to tell the truth?
Man, both of them.
All right, I'm gonna say the lie. Yeah, man, he should get in. Finals MVP. How many people got Finals MVPs, right? On a team with the greatest shooter of all time, a guy we put in the upper room last week in Draymond Green, and a guy like Klay Thompson, one of the best 2-way guys, and he won Finals MVP. Now the real answer is hell no, because I just can't do it. We talk about a 3-time champ, okay, but he's coming off the bench as a role player, 6-man, and yes, he finished the games up in that Hampton 5 role. But we're not going out and say, hey, we got to stop Iguodala. We got to stop Andre Iguodala. No, we can't do it. And to be honest, these other 2 guys are similar and really better, in my opinion, for career-wise. And we're not talking about them. So because he can't get past them first, he can't get in my upper room.
Man, like you said, the answer here and off Iguodala. I don't care what nobody say. This man never averaged 20 points a game. His career highs were 19.9, 18.8, 18.2. Those are his three highs. You know, average 20 points a game. With the Warriors, man, you only averaged
But he was averaging
7.3
But
points
he
a
averaged
game.
7 points, like 6 points last year, bro. And they were talking about some. I'm
Bro,
gonna
you were
sit
coming
out.
off the bench. You were coming off the bench, man. You are not a Hall of Famer. You got a bogus Finals MVP. It should have been Steph Curry's. Iguodala case closed. You are not. You don't need upper room, lower room, boiler room, none of that. You ain't getting in here.
You ain't making it. Not the lower room. Man can't get into the basement. Nah, but yeah. So we talk about these other guys right here. So Sean Marion and Ron Artest. Iguodala can't. He can't get past them, and they're all similar as far as like slightly above role player slash like third star on a team. We know Sean Marion,
Yeah.
Dallas and Phoenix and what he done, and we know Ron Artest helped the Lakers secure a championship. Marion helped secure a championship just like Iguodala did, but they all had great players with them, So
Yeah, Marion, he had a few good years before Nash got there, but
Sean
once
Marion.
Nash got there, the team success took off. He doesn't have any all NBA, all defensive team nods, man.
For a guy who played great
Boogie
defense, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
For a
kinda
guy who
crazy.
played a lot of good defense, he didn't make that. So, cool resume, 4-time All-Star, 1-time champ, 2-time All NBA, but I'm not voting for him.
That
And
that jump shot not getting in either. Like
Oh no! If Melo didn't have the brawl happen, he would probably be in. But one-time champ of Lakers, one-time defensive player of the year. He was headed in the right direction, but
yeah.
I can't let Melo in either.
Yeah.
I love Big Ron. I love Melo. What he brought to the game, but I can't give him the nod either.
Yeah, I think Sean Marion and Artest sit above Iguodala, and y'all, you can prove to me why anybody that can prove to me why Iguodala is better than Sean Marion or Ron Artest. I'm not hearing it. Two, I ain't buying it. So, somebody else.
I think we got one last debate left in us, man. Right now, if they retired today, Paul George, 6-time All-Star, 4-time All-Defensive Player, 5-time All-NBA, 2013 Most Improved Player. Jimmy Butler, 5-time All-Star, 4-time All-Defensive Player, 2 times All-NBA, 2015 Most Improved Player. If they retired today, Paul George or Jimmy Butler, are they in the upper room? And if so, why or why not? What are your thoughts on those two guys?
Man, I think these two, this is what's hard because first of all, who would you rather have between these two guys? Because we've seen Jimmy do what he do with different franchises and rise them up. We've seen Paul George go to a team with a start and almost win MVP. We've seen with Kawhi now. We've seen him in Indiana, who was his trajectory was going higher than what it was, but because of the injury, probably slowed down a little bit. I think these guys are identical. I think they are twins. So if you
they are on the same tier right
if
now.
George get in, Butler get in. George don't, Butler don't. And I think Butler was the slow starter, but you seen when he went from the Bulls, who shouldn't have been in the 8 seeds. They shouldn't have got in. Almost beat the Celtics that year. We went to Timberwolves, who came in the playoffs. They finally get in because he get there. Sixers, Embiid Ben, well, they got to the playoffs. They lost to Kawhi's crazy shot.
They crazy shot. And look, Jimmy was the closer in that series too.
And
for that team.
And then you got Miami, who's Tyler Hero, rookie, Nunn, rookie. Bam, a second-year player. Derrick Jones, all he was known for was dunking. You still got Dragic as a
Still
vet.
am.
And yeah, true. And then you got Duncan Robinson, who's nothing but a rookie, I think, as well. So, and they was up at first. They was a 1 or 2 seed at one point. So, I think Jimmy just where he goes, he just brings winning, and that's what will make me want to vote him over. If I had to choose one, that's why I would vote him over George. But like I said, they both had to go in. I don't know, man. What you think?
I agree. They are the same. But where I disagree is I would pick Paul George over Jimmy.
Damn. So you a Paul and Jimmy guy? Damn.
Yeah, I mean Paul George 2017 and 2019. Those were 2 great seasons. And more All NBA. Like he's more recognized amongst his peers in the media with All NBA. So I would go Paul George, but I'm gonna vote no as of today. I need to see more from both guys. I want to see where they finish up. If Paul George and the Clippers win the title this year, even though he may be the second option on that team, that'll kind of give me the nod to say, all right, he's pretty much going to be there. But as of right now, I'm voting no for both.
So we say so you saying if he get a championship, so we know Jimmy Butler and the Heat probably won't win the championship, but what would Jimmy Butler have to do on the Heat like this season to make you be like, all right, I can see him going there too? Conference finals or
yeah, I need East Finals from the Heat, and then for the rest of his career, he got the contract, so
he need to stay in his place.
I need to see Jimmy end up an 8-time All-Star, about 6-time All-Defensive, and have about 4 All-NBA nods. I need to see that so I can give him the case.
And I think Jimmy Butler will get 3 All-NBAs this year, and I'm pretty sure he can still be a top 15 player for the next 2 or 3, 4 seasons without doubt. So yeah, you're right. No for right now, but these two guys are. I mean, they can get a queen size at least, if anything.
They head in the right direction. They head in the right direction. They both head in the right direction. And then we have 3 more guys who are headed in the right direction. We were talking these guys earlier in text and via Twitter. Jason Tatum versus Brandon Ingram was kind of like the debate.
Right.
But also Chris Middleton, man, like.
Yeah,
all these guys are starting to emerge. Middleton has more game tape than these guys. He's already been a 2-time All-Star. He's been in the league, I think, 7 years compared to Tatum and Ingram on their 3rd or 4th years. But they're all heading in the right direction. Of the 3, I'm a Tatum guy. So I will give him the highest trajectory to get to the upper room. I think career-wise, ceiling-wise, he could be Paul George-esque. And I think Brandon Ingram could be Trace McGrady-esque, win a few scoring titles and stuff like that with the Pelicans. Middleton, he's going to have to hope that they win some titles, him and Giannis, so he can kind of get like that Pippen.
Yeah,
but that's how I view all those guys.
That's perfect for Middleton. He has to show that he can be the Pippen, the James Worthy, and he can get in with that being those two guys. Even the Paul George behind ride with Kawhi. If you can show that you can show up in those big moments in the finals and have that, you can get into the upper room. Tatum and Brandon Ingram, both young, both ascending. And I think because this position is so locked and so heavy right now, it's kind of hard to see them coming. But yeah, they both are coming. And I agree that all 3 have a good chance. Tatum and Ingram has an opportunity because they're so young, more so than Middleton. But yeah, Tatum and Ingram has a chance to be the best player to get in. And Middleton has a chance to be the Pippen and the James Worthy to get in.
Real quick, man. What about your guy? We skipped over your guy, Pager, man. 3-time All-Star, 1-time champ, 1-time All-NBA.
Don't get me started, man. If we talking about Peja Stojakovic as far as 3-point
3-ball well.
Hey, yeah, we talking about Hall of Fame for 3-point shooting. My boy at the penthouse. But hey, Peja, that's my guy right there, man.
And we also didn't mention Latrell Sprewell, 4-time All-Star, 1-time All-Defensive Player, and 1-time All-NBA. So those were just a few. And Rashard Lewis won a title, 2-time All-Star. Just a few of the guys we left out.
And make sure everybody knows we count Luka Doncic as shooting guard. So
yeah.
So
even though under college,
man,
football,
he everything.
He be athlete. But
yeah,
look
everything.
We're gonna say he a shooting guard.
But yeah, so that's our upper room. That one, man. Go and give us a recap before we get out of here.
Yeah, we got 12 more inductees. LeBron James, Larry Bird, Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, Dr. J, Scottie Pippen, Paul Pierce, James Worthy, Carmelo Anthony, Dominique Wilkins, Alex English, and last but definitely not least, Mr. Grant Hill. Yo, Kev, where are these 12 inductees going?
The upper room. To the upper room, man. To the upper room.
That brings us to 24, man. We got 12 from power forward and 12 from small forward. So we're sitting at 24 right now.
Hey, that's not bad too, man. That's not bad because we cancel a lot of guys who made the Hall of Fame, like the Danleys and all them guys like that. But it's
Bernard
just
King out of here. Hey, we over under, man. All right, we're sitting at 24 through 2 positions.
Okay.
Over or under, we'll have 60 inductees. Because I'm basically saying 12 times 5 positions be 60. So over or under, we get 60.
I'm gonna go under. I feel like the guard position, we're not gonna go 12. I just got a feeling one of them not gonna go 12. And center may or may not go 12. So I think I'm gonna go under. I think we might hit under 60.
I'm going over. I think we're
Okay.
gonna probably have like 62. I think we're
Okay.
gonna barely hit the over, like 61, 62. So I'm going over. We'll see how it plays out
That's gonna be good to see.
in the next couple episodes.
Facts. I mean, we got. Hey, make sure y'all check out us on 12 Ounce Sports. Check out us on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio,
Man,
all
check
that
out
stuff,
the
man.
website, man. We got the Duo
Hey,
article out, man.
Hey,
check out the website,
hey,
man.
for real though. Hey, Rashad's dropping your top 10 quarterback under 30 and your top 10 over 30 coming out soon. So y'all be tuned for that, man.
Yeah, check out the duos, Joe Dumars, Isaiah Thomas, too. Bad Boy Pistons.
The upper room.